Good morning, everyone. Here we are, the 17th of June 2020, and we're still in lockdown here in Scotland. Overcast, but warm, muggy. Okay, so today we're going to just start off on the floor, and we're going to do some stretches to warm up. So if you get a pillow for under your head, if you like that, and we will lay on the floor. So let's first of all start off really tucking our shoulders under and making sure that we're not squishing or hunching in the shoulders. So take your time to do that, and you may find at that point that you need something just to raise your head a little bit up to help your neck to be long. And then we'll just hug our right knee to our chest, stretch the left leg along the floor, and we're breathing. So see how long you can make that left leg, hugging that right knee. You can take the knee out to the side a little bit, squeeze it further in, and then bring it back to the centre. And then we'll stretch through that left arm as well. So we're doing one side stretch. Now let's get our ujjayi breath going. So we're breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. But imagine as we breathe in that we're taking the breath in and out through the front of the throat. There's a slight sound as you breathe. Nape of the neck, just lengthen away. Lovely. And let's change sides. So taking the left knee up and taking it out to the side a little bit. Just hold that first, so you can bring it out to the side to get it closer, and then bring it back in to the center. Elongating through the right leg. Thinking about bringing the back of the right knee down towards the floor, and also sliding that right heel a bit further away. And then we'll take our right arm over the head as well. So we're stretching now through the right side of the body. Breathing. And release. Now let's do both knees. So we'll hug both knees to the chest, clasping your hands around the knees. So bring the knees slightly, it's like you're trying to bring the tops of the thighs in toward your tummy. Keep your shoulders tucking under, and then see how much you can squeeze your knees, or the front of the knees, towards your ribs. Breathing. So it's quite active in the shoulders, keep them rolling back and down. Lovely. And then release one foot, then the other. So we're going to take our belt, not our belt, our blocks or something to raise up, push up, and get a little bit of height underneath you. Now, you don't want to be so high that it's pinching your lower back, but at the same time, so at least a block, if not two blocks, or a block and a half. And then just roll about to make sure that you've got a nice, comfortable way to sit on that. Now, thinking about the back ribs, we're letting them, making sure that they're not going up in the air. So let your back ribs descend. And then let's get that right knee again. This time we're going to stretch that left leg away from us. So the heel's off the floor. And then exhale, let's take it out to the side. Inhale, bring it back to the center. Exhale, out to the side. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, out to the side. Inhale, back to the center. So we're just waking up our core here. As you're doing that, you're making sure that you're keeping your belly in and up. So out to the side, back to the center. So it's actually out to the side and also slightly forward as you do that. Let's do 3 more. Nice, and release. So you might be feeling that in your inner thigh a little bit. And we'll change legs, so we're hugging now that left knee, stretching through our right leg. So the heel's floating off the floor, but you can send the heel away and just see if you can descend a little bit more and feel how you get that stretch up through the front of the thigh. And then exhale, out to the side. So it's kind of forward and to the side, so a little bit forward as you go out to the side. I guess you're making a bit of arch with your foot. Keep our belly drawing in and up, so we're keeping our scooping hollow. And then when you take the leg back down, let it go low as you can. So when you come to lift it up again, you're having to do that extra little work to get that lift. Keep the leg nice and straight out to the side. So you don't really start to notice it till about the 5th one. So then let's do another 5. 1. Nice. And then hug the knees to the chest. And then we'll just take one foot back on the floor and then the other. So taking our belts, which, not our belts, our weights, which of course you've got nice and handy. So bring the weights down, take your hands down by your side and tuck your shoulders under. And just have the weights on top of your hands. Just make sure that you're not flaring up the ribs. So we're allowing these back ribs to settle towards the floor without collapsing the back. Keeping the shoulders tucked under. And then as you exhale, just lift up, bend the left elbow, lift the hand up, lift the arm off the floor a little bit, bend. So just coming up to take the hand above the shoulder, above the elbow. So we'll open the arm back down again, lift it up, open it. So you're taking the arm a little bit out to the sides, lifting it up, bending a little bit in the elbow, open it up out to the side. So again, you'll feel it after about 5. Let's do 5 more. 1. Keep your shoulder away from the ears, nicely tucked under. 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely, and we'll do it to the right now. Have the right arm out to the side, and we'll lift up and bend. 1, 2. So we're opening out to the side, just slightly bending the elbow, keeping the wrist in line with the shoulder. If you haven't got weights, you can use a tin of beans or something like that. You need to really think about keeping your shoulder down away from your ears. so that when you're working with the arm, you're connecting your arm down into your core muscles. And there's a broadening across the front of the chest as you do that. Let's do 4 more. 1, 1, 2, 2. Keep your core working. 3, 3, 4, 4. Great. Right, let's have both weights. Lift your arms up to the ceiling. Tuck your shoulders under. So what we're going to do now is first of all, check your elbows are above your shoulders, and then we're just going to let the hands fall back behind us and then straighten them up again. So we're making a right angle in the crook of the elbow, and try and see if you can keep your shoulders in line, keep your elbows in line with your shoulders. So the tendency of be wanting to let your elbows go out to the side, but try and rotate them in so the elbows stay parallel to each other and also positioned above the shoulders. Keep your shoulders tucked under. And thinking about drawing the pelvic floor in towards the spine. So again, you probably won't feel it to begin with, but after about, I don't know, 5 or 6, you start to feel it. So once you start to feel it, let's do 5 more. 1, 1, 2. Keep these elbows closer in towards each other. Keep them parallel. Don't let them go out to the side. Right, I've lost count. We'll do a couple more. 1, 1, 2, 2. Good. And release. Now let's take the arms over the head. Now if you can do that with straight arms, then you can have the arms parallel over the head, but you may need to make a Y shape in order to have straight elbows. And if you do have the arms over the head, check that you haven't done that by flaring up your back ribs. So find the right distance for you. Now just bend your elbows a little bit. And we're going to take a breath in. Now as we exhale, just slowly lift up your weights. Imagine they're more heavy than they actually are. Slowly lift them up, lift them up, lift them up. Use your core. And then when your weights get above, in line with your shoulders, or just in front of that, then stop. And then we're going to slowly roll them, take them down again. Just try and imagine that they're super heavy, so you have to control it. Keep your shoulders away from the ears. Very good. Now if you find that a little bit hard, you can do it with your arms further away, or maybe the elbows slightly more bent. So shoulders away from the ears. Ready? Moving on. So just imagine that your weights are 3 or 4 times heavier. So you have that feeling of pushing against the resistance, coming up and down. Making sure that you haven't flared the rib cage. Keep the rib cage connecting to the spine. Lovely. Let shoulders away from the ears, nice long neck. Just watch that you're not putting tension into your neck. Let's do 5 more. 1, down, 2. Can you feel the pelvic floor connecting as you work? You make this action start in your core to support the movement. 4, last one. 5, and down. Great, and release. Right, from there, oh yes, we'll do this. So take our feet onto the floor, tuck our shoulders under. Now at this point you need to take away anything that you've got under your head. So you don't want any cushion under your head, because we need to really tuck our shoulders under, and then let's just push up into our bridge. So as we do that, don't worry about going too high. I'd rather you think about activating the inner thighs and the buttock muscles. So push the feet into the floor, send your knees away from your hips, and just don't stick your rib cage out. So let your ribs stay softened into the spine, but rather think about bringing the sternum towards your chin. So you're kind of lengthening here. Then we're going to take away whatever's underneath us. And some of you can tuck your shoulders under, and you might be able to catch your hand under your back. See if you can get your little fingers on the floor. And again, bring the sternum to the chin. Keep your knees parallel, pressing the feet into the floor. Lovely. And then we will take the hands away. Roll down, first of all, upper back, then the mid back, then the tailbone. Have a little rest. Now, if you find that you're not able to clasp your hands with straight elbows, then we'll just have our belt handy. We'll do that again. Tuck the shoulders under, feet on the floor. Push down through the feet, begin to lift the hips. Send the knees away from the hips. Keep your rib cage softening down, so we don't want to flare up. And instead we want to bring the sternum in the direction of the chin. If we can then tuck our shoulders under, we can either use a belt to have something to push against. If you make your belt into a loop or just clasp it, gives you something to push against. Those of you that can catch the hands and you've got your little fingers on the floor. You'll really feel that in the inner thighs and in the buttocks, as long as you don't try and lift too high. Send the knees away, bring that sternum in towards your chin. So you're bringing the weight onto the tops of your shoulders. Let's see if we can hold for another breath or two. Okay, and then let go with your hands, rolling down, upper back, mid back, then the tailbone, and then just bring your knees forward a little bit to have a little rest. So we're going to do that one more time, so just have a little rest, and then again. So only go as far as you can manage. It's better to do a really good one than try and yeah, it's better to hold it for a shorter time and get a good pose than try and hold it for longer but not really working very well in it. Okay, so we're coming, push the feet down, lift the hips, send the knees away, use something under to catch the hands so we've got something to push against, working the shoulders in. And then just standing on our left leg, you can let our right leg go up in the air. Sternum to chin. And down. Change leg. Notice how you have to really scoop in the core to help you keep balance. Keep that knee, keep that right knee pointing up to the ceiling. And down, and then taking away your belt, rolling down, great, and then just catch the knee. And we'll just take a moment to soften in to that. So you can, if you like, you can put your belt around your knees, so that way you can keep your head and shoulders from getting all scrunched up. And you can also pop your something under your head at this point. Good. Okay, so while we're here, we're going to just do a little psoas release. So let's just take our left leg back on the floor, left foot, and we're going to have our right leg into our tabletop. So we've got a right angle here at the knee. Just bring your hand on your knee, and we're going to push the knee into the hand and push the hand into the knee. So we're pushing both ways. Strong push. This is helping you release into the right psoas step. Hard as you can. Push, 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 push. Harder, harder. Keep your shoulders relaxed. That's it. And let's go to the other side. Pushing left knee into left hand resisting hard as you can. Keep that right foot on the floor. Keep that right knee pointing up to the ceiling. And then release. Okay, so we're going to either repeat the on one side, or if you know that you can bring your knees over your hips and your ankles in line with your knees and still keep your tummy drawing in and up, then we'll do it with both legs. But if you find when you do it your tummy sticks out, just go back to the one leg. And so we're going to push both knees into the hands, both hands into the knees. Notice how you have to really draw your tummy in and up. And relax. Change leg, those of you that are doing it with one leg. And again, push. Push, 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 hard as you can. And release. Great. Okay, let's just have a little stretch along the floor. And then we're going to just roll over, so we're in kneeling position. So in kneeling position, if you can get your weight in front of you. So we're going to kneel with the hips over the knees and spreading our fingers, nice spread hands, have our wrists below the shoulders and take the shoulders back and down. And then we're going to stretch through our left leg, tuck our toes under, take the belt in the right hand, the weight, and then we're going to exhale, just lift. You can have your elbow slightly bent for this. Lift and down, lift and down. Keep your legs straight. So those of you that aren't kneeling, you can find a sitting position and you can just do something like that. But if you're managing it with up and down, shoulders away from the ears, keep a nice aligned spine. 2 more. Keep your tummy drawing in and up, shoulders away from the ears. Lovely. And then release. Great, and we'll change sides. So bring your weight to the other side. Take your knees apart, and we're going to straighten the right leg. Really stretch through the right leg. Check that we've got a nice, we're not making a humpy movement. If we had a tray, we could put it on our back, and it would fit nicely. Nothing would spill. And then exhale. Bend your left elbow slightly, lift and down, shoulder away from the ear. Let's do 4 more. 1, shoulder away from the ear. 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. That's actually not that easy, is it? Very good. Okay, so from there, let's just do a little pose of the child before we move on. So if you're sitting on your heels, just come forward. Some of you can very easily just bend and bring the head down to the floor. But if that's not happening for you, then You can have your head on something raised. And also, you may find that getting onto your heels is not straightforward, so you can use something under your heels. And some people find that the angle here in the foot is what gives them trouble, and you can always put something on your feet so that you're, yeah, if you do it like that, so that your feet don't have to go to such an extreme angle. So there's ways that you can find to get into a nice position. And then once we find a nice position, we want to think about just letting the front ribs soften down onto our thighs. And just take a moment to soften into that. And you may find that as you warm into the pose, you can dispense with anything that you had under your head, and you can also bring your hands by your side. And once you do that, you get more weight going down through your rib cage. Because obviously when you've got your hands forward, you're sharing the weight. So your spine isn't always ready for that straight away. So just do that once you feel that you can soften your ribs down onto your thighs, and then you can get a commensurate feeling of lengthening and softening in the backs. Particularly think about this area in the lower back. So if you still feel any twinge in the lower back, you can just go back to the height that you had when you could relax without feeling it that impinged. Impinging in the lower back. Lovely. And then coming up. Yeah. Because the thing about the pose of the child, it is meant to be like a recovery position. So you want to find something that you enjoy and that you can relax into. We're not looking for forcing your body in a way that causes you to contract, because it's defeating the purpose then. Okay, so from there, let's have something, you can have your chair in front of you, or something with a little bit of height, maybe a couple of blocks, or I've got my bolster, or you can have the chair. And then we're going to, kneeling on the left leg, just bring your right leg forward. So what we want to do is get the knee far enough back so that when we have this right knee over the right ankle, and then you want to feel a stretch through the left hip. So you might need to take that knee further back, Sarah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's lovely, Victoria. Now, open the chest. And if that's impinging on your knee, you can put something under your knee. If that's more comfortable. Now, if you can let go, clasp your hands or use your belt to have a little stretch. And also you'll find as you lean back slightly, you'll increase your stretch through your psoas. Great, and release. Just watch your knee of your bent leg, your front leg. Now it's going to be the left knee. Just make sure that that knee stays above your ankle, so you don't let it go out to the side. And find the right distance for you. So you've got enough space to drop into your front hip and use your breath, soften into that. Bringing the front leg forward sufficiently so that the knee is above the ankle. Breathing. So you adjust the height to suit you. Use something under your knee if you need to do that. If you're not doing kneeling, you can lie on the floor and just catch your heel behind your back, and you'll get that same stretch through the psoas. Then if we can, catch the hands behind the back, open the chest, we can use the belt. If you need to just keep on your hand on the chair, then that's fine. Leaning back a little bit to increase that stretch. Beautiful. And lovely, and then release. Okay, so let's go back into the pose of the child. Lovely, and then gently, very nice, lovely long backs here, that's beautiful. And we'll gently come into, come back up. So we want to now get a nice thick, thick blanket, and you want to fold it. So you can actually fold it in three if you like, because it doesn't need to be that, that wide, as long as it's longer than your shoulders. And that's the way. Oops. Just check it's not lumpy. Okay, so we're going to get our chair again. Now you can put your chair against, have your chair facing against the wall, or you can use your big armchair, which is less likely to sky, or your sofa. Something nice and firm. And then we're going to try this again. So we are going to get, again, it's just a question of a little bit of trial and error to get the right spacing for you. So we've got our calves onto the chair, and then when we go back, we want to make sure our shoulders are raised onto our folded blanket, but the head is off. Now, if you find it hard to get up and your shoulders are tight, you want to just make sure your folded blankets are really nice and thick. Great. Now, if you're using a sofa, you don't need to catch anything. You can just have you can be quite far away from your sofa. So when you push up, the angle that you're making is not so acute. And that's, so you're just, if you find that you can't push up, then walk your feet further away, further back on the sofa to make your angle less extreme. So if you find that your sofa's, you've come in too close to your sofa, then you can obviously just come up and start again with your blanket further back. So we've got our shoulders off, and then whichever we're finding, see if you can get some kind of lift up through your bottom with your feet firmly on pushing against either a sofa or your chair. And you can have the arms out to the side if you like, so even just to get that as a starting point coming up. Lovely, and then you can just come down again. If you need to make any adjustment, to make sure your shoulders are on the raise but your head's off it, and your arms out to the side. Lovely, so that's like just a nice starting position, and then you can roll down. There's no need to hold it too long. Just to begin to get the feeling of that upside down position. Now if you find that, you know, not a trouble, then obviously you can bring your chair in closer so that when you come up, you've got more of an angle. Can you see that? The closer your chair is when you push through your feet, the more you're going to come up. So there's no need to rush into that. So you can start off with your feet quite far away, but just begin to get a feeling of lift in the hips. And then the next level, if you're fine with that, is see if you can bring one leg up in the air. Just have your arms wherever it feels comfortable. We're trying to bring the weight rolling onto the tops of our shoulders, bring the weight through the shoulder blades. And then we'll change and come up with the other arm. Just have your hands where they're comfortable, preferably a bit lower than shoulder height. In order to lift one leg, notice how you have to activate from the core. And then we can lift the other leg again. So again, that's just alternating legs. Yeah, I think you want to get your head more off just into that. So lovely. And then for those of you that are ready, you know, for the next level, bring your elbows in, and then you can support your hands under your back and then come up with both legs. Taking wide leg. You can do this wide leg and then swing your legs one way so that your left leg is going back, right leg forward. Back to your side splits, go the other way. Really trying to drop that right leg behind you. Lovely, and then, yeah, we'll do splits, close the splits. Keep your left leg up in the air, bring your right leg down. Change side. Both legs up in the air. Let's do soles of the feet together, and we're rotating to one side, rotating to the other side, Back to center, knees together. If you can, bring knees to the forehead. You might be able to get your feet on the floor. And then to come down, we'll just slowly roll one vertebrae at a time. And then you want to just bring something under your head. So your head is actually not no more lower, it's not lower than your shoulders anymore. So if you move your cushion so that your head's on it as well. And we're going to just bring our calves onto the chair, just let our back relax. Now, so just take a moment to relax, let your body weight just drop to the mat. Let your calves weight drop down onto your chair. Just find a nice position for your arms. Breathe in. So just let your breath recover. And then we're going to bring our right ankle in front of our left knee. So maintaining our relaxation as much as we can. So the only thing that you're feeling is that right glute working. And you can slide your right ankle down the leg if you want to get a little bit more glute action. And then just let your right knee go back a little bit. And if you're not feeling anything, you want to just sugar in closer or bring your chair in a bit closer so that you make sure that you can feel something in that right glute. Thinking about your navel, just let the navel move in the direction of the pubic bone, and that will accentuate that little stretch there. So let's just soften into that, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. If you've got a chair that you can hold, then that's sometimes quite a nice way to get the stretch. Lovely, and then both legs back on the chair, and we're bringing the left leg now. So make any adjustments you need, because when you change leg, you may find that you need to be further away or closer in order to feel something happening. That little stretch we're looking for in the left glute. And bring our ankle down a little bit, bringing that left knee back. And then moving the navel in the direction of the pubic bone. So we're not rounding our spine this way, we're navel that way. And that will increase your stretch. If you want to use your chair to help you get that movement better, then go ahead. So all parts of your body soften, and where you'll feel it is just in that left glute. So you're taking the softening that you're putting into the rest of your body, take that into that left glute stretch. Lovely. And then we're just going to roll off of our chair. And can we come into sitting with both legs stretched out in front of us? So we want to come up onto, if you're using your wobble cushion, you can use that, or anything, use a block. Stretch your legs out in front of you. So we're going to bend our right knee and then take our right knee over the left. Catching the knee to sit up straight. Now if you're on your wobble cushion, you'll find that that's a nice little challenge for you, and you're having to adjust in your core, in your pelvic basin, in your pelvic floor to maintain that. So we're taking our left hand onto the right knee and just turn to look behind you on the right hand side. You can use a block, because if you're sitting up on something, your hand isn't going to reach the floor so easily. Lengthen up through the front body. Rotate that right shoulder back behind you. Breathing. And release. Lovely. And let's change sides. So bending our left knee, bring the left knee on the outside edge of your right leg, catching hold of the knee with the right hand. So we're doing opposite hand, right hand on left knee. Get the length up through the front of the body. We're beginning to rotate. And you know, if you're sitting on that wobble cushion, you really have to work quite hard to balance without wobbling, but that's really helping you to find these pelvic floor muscles. Lifting up, rotating, keep long through the front body and keep rotating. That left shoulder goes back behind you, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Breathe. Lovely. And then back to center. So we'll go into our baddha khonasana. So again, if you're up on your little wobble cushion there, you'll feel that challenge. Just take the hands on the knees, backs of the hands on the knees. Think about the crown of the head going up to the ceiling, shoulders dropping back and down. So remember, if you find that that's quite hard to open your knees, you can put your wobble cushion up onto a little extra height. So you're still getting the benefit of practicing with the wobble, which means that you find these pelvic floor muscles. But at the same time, you can drop your knees a little bit more if you're higher. So that's something to play around with. Keep the shoulders rolling back and down. Backs of the hands on the floor, getting our lift up through the front of the body. Letting our sit bones descend down and slightly back. Now you can think about lengthening forward from the tops of the legs. See if you can get that length in the abdomen to come forward slightly. Actually makes the balance a little bit easier. And then if that's okay, you can bring your fingertips on the floor So keep long, long, long in the front body. So sternum's coming slightly forward and up. You're going to feel that here in the groin area. And those of you, I know some of you are very flexible. If you want to flop forward, then by all means do. Some of you I know can get your head on the floor. But otherwise, just notice where you're feeling that. You might notice it in one groin more than another. So just work with that. And we can also use our chair. Just to hinge forward, use our chair to help us to come forward a little bit. And having the support of the chair helps you to just relax it a bit more in that groin, into that groin stretch. Lovely. And then we'll just gently come out of that and bringing the knees together. Give our legs a little stretch. Okay, so we're going to just head back down onto the floor. We do a little side stretch first, so we're going to have something on our right hand side, a little block or bolster. Bring that left knee up and then just let it come onto your bolster. Rotate into your left shoulder. So just take a few moments in this position. So let your rib cage relax. Watch you're not flaring your ribs. Keep the back waist moving back. And then see if you can find a really comfortable position so you can just let your body weight soften wherever you find yourself in your twist. And you can let your breath go into your belly as you breathe in. And then we'll go to the other side. So change whatever you had over to the left, and then we'll bring our right knee up, straighten the left leg, and just let that knee come over to the left, and then you're rotating into the right. Just make any adjustment that you need. Keep your ribs softening down, so don't let them flare out. Just keep them softening down so this back waist moves back. Shoulder, that right shoulder is opening down towards the floor. So as we soften into that movement, we can feel as we breathe in, our belly swells on that inhalation, sinks on the exhalation, and on that exhalation we can just relax more, release wherever it's possible in our body. And then from there, we'll move into our relaxation. So if you want to use your bolster or cushions under your knees, if you find that comfortable, then you can do that. But otherwise, just lie in a straight line. And we're having our heels closer than the toes. So we let our toes flop to either side. Knees flop. That helps your hips to relax. And then you can have something, just put your blanket on if you need to. And also if you want to have something under your head, then you can do that. So now that we've done a lot of shoulder work today, you may find as you take the arms out to the side that they have themselves rotated so that your palms are facing up. If not, you can maybe see if you can adjust that. So we want our palms, if possible, facing up to the ceiling, and then just fingers curling, nape of the neck nice and long. And we're going to just allow our breath to fill our belly, so as we breathe in, we get that swelling of the belly. And as we exhale, we get that sinking. And if you find it hard to relax, it's quite nice sometimes just to take your hands onto your belly and just following the breath on that inhalation, exhalation. See if you can allow more weight across your shoulders to drop onto your mat, enabling your head and your neck to relax more as well. Thinking for a moment about the back of the hips. As you exhale, see if you can get a feeling of the weight of the hips dropping and spreading onto the floor. And notice as you do that, your legs start to feel lighter. And you almost get a feeling of floating in your legs. Lovely. And then we're going to just, when we're ready, gently take a deep breath. Just become aware of our body lying on the mat. And we're going to move our fingers and toes. Stretch the arms and legs. And just stretch out in a straight line, so just moving away anything that you were using. Big stretch. And then we can bring our knees up and just roll onto one side. Just let yourself be on one side for a moment. Before we come into sitting, so that we can finish together. So bringing the hands together, thumbs on the sternum, getting our lovely straight spine, shoulders rolling back and down. Feeling our hands connecting to each other and feeling our thumbs connecting to our heart area. Bringing that sternum slightly forward and up. Sit bones back and down. Lovely, thank you all.